Claude Code can read my files, run my commands, even commit code. That is great, but it is stuck on my machine. Last week, I pointed it at my investment trackers database, asked it to find my worst performing holdings, check if there are any missing index in the code, and create a GitHub PR for the fix. One conversation, no tab switching, no copy pasting between tools. That is MCP, and it does not just work with a Claude Code. Cursor, ChatGPT, Gemini CLI, they all speak the same protocol. Let me show you how to set it up. So what is MCP? It stands for Model Context Protocol, and it is basically a plugin system for your AI tools. Think of it like apps on your phone. Your phone works fine out of the box. Calls, messages, camera, but you install apps to give it new powers. Maps, banking, music. MCP servers works the same way. Each one gives your AI tool a new skill. One server connects to your GitHub repo. Another one connects it to your database. Another one for Slack. You install only the ones you need. And here is the big deal. MCP is a universal standard. Before this, every AI tool built its own custom integrations for every service. Think phone chargers before Type-C. Every phone had its own weird cables. MCP is USB-C for AI tools. Anthropics released it, and now OpenAI, Google, and everyone else are adopting it. One protocol works everywhere. And I mean everywhere. Claude Code, Cursor, ChatGPT, Gemini CLI, they all support MCP now. So what I am showing you today is not a Claude specific trick. It is a skill that transfers across every major AI tool you will use. Now you might be thinking, wait, Claude Code can already run shell commands. It can write a query with my connection string and run it. It can curl a GitHub API. It can write a Python script to do any of this. So why do I even need MCP? And honestly, that is a fair question. Yes, AI agents can already do all of that. But here is what MCP gives you that shell script don't. First, guardrails. When Claude runs a shell command, it can run anything. There's no boundary. An MCP server exposes only specific tools with specific capabilities. The GitHub MCP server can list PRs and create them, but it can't delete your repo. You control what the AI can do, not just what you hope it does. Second, no setup every time. Without MCP, Claude has to figure out the connection string for every conversation. Which CLI is installed? Where is the connection string? How does auth work? With MCP, that is all pre-configured. The server is always there, always connected, always ready. Third one, visibility. MCP tools show you exactly what operation is about to happen before it runs. A shell script that is a black box until it executes. Before we add any servers, you need to know where to find them, and I want to show you the most trustworthy way. Docker actually built an entire MCP catalog right into Docker Desktop. Over 300 verified servers, GitHub, Slack, AWS, you name it. And every single image is digitally signed by Docker. So you know what you are running. See this. Each server shows you exactly what tool it adds and what it needs to run. The GitHub server needs a personal token. No guessing, it's all right here. And if you want to go deeper, every server in this catalog maps back to a Docker Hub image under the MCP namespace. No, Docker is not the only way to find and install MCP servers. There are other tools out there. Smithery, mcp.so, or you can go straight to npm and install servers with npx commands. Plenty of options. The official MCP website has the full protocol docs and reference servers implementation too. But I personally use Docker because I can immediately see whether a server is an official Docker verified image or a community built one. That label matters when you are giving an MCP server access to your GitHub repo, your database. Plus, the config is simple. You are not chasing down npm dependencies or wondering if something installed correctly. Now here is the part I really like. You need to run this command before you connect to any client. This will run the MCP client for your Docker. Docker Desktop automatically detects which AI tools you have already installed under the client tab. Claude Code, Claude Desktop, Gemini CLI, whatever. You can connect your MCP servers to any of them right from here. Once it is connected, you can run /mcp in your AI client and you will see MCP underscore Docker show up as a connected server. That one gateway gives your AI tool access to your every server you have enabled in Catalog. Alright, let's see MCP in action. The flow is simple. Find the server in the Docker catalog, configure whatever keys it needs, enable it, and it shows up in your AI tool through the gateway. That is it. And here is what's great about using Docker for this. Every server runs in its own isolated container. It can't touch your file system. It can't install random packages. It can't mess with your machine. It runs, does the job, and container disappears. When you connect through Docker Desktop, your servers are available globally across every project you open. You want GitHub everywhere, not just in one repo. Docker handles that. I have got my project open, Wealthfolio. It is an investment tracking app I built. Let me add the GitHub MCP server to it. Here it is, the GitHub server. Right away, I can see it's a Docker verified image, what tool it provides, and what it needs to run. I will click Add MCP server and head to the configuration page. It is asking for a personal access token for GitHub. Let me quickly generate one. Here is an important details. Only give the permissions you actually need. Give least privilege always. Done. Token configured. Server enabled. Let me verify it is connected in Claude Code. There it is. MCP underscore Docker is connected. That means GitHub server is live and ready. Let me put it to work. Let's start with something simple. I will ask it to pull all the PRs from my Wealthfolio repo. Look at that. It pulled all the 7 PRs from my repo. Shows the title, state, date, everything formatted nicely. And notice it is using MCP underscore Docker. That means it is going through the Docker gateway, not running some random shell commands. This is MCP in action. Okay, so it can read my PRs, but can it actually dig deeper? Let me ask it to filter the open ones and check if any are ready to merge. One PR is open, no conflicts, CI checks are passed. Claude Code checked all of that in seconds without me opening GitHub. Alright, it says it is safe to merge. Let's see if Claude can actually do it. Let's merge it, and it failed with 403. And that is actually a good thing. Remember when I said give only the permission you need? My token does not have merge access, so Claude can't merge it. That is the safety net working exactly as it should. Now let me show you the other side. I will ask Claude Code to bump the app version and open a PR for it in one prompt. And there it is. Claude made the change, wrote a clear PR description, and pushed it to GitHub. That approval step is very important. Claude always asks before touching external services. If it is required, you approve it. If you feel that action is not necessary, then decline it. You are in control. PR is live on GitHub, and I never left my terminal. Okay, that was GitHub. Now let's do something most people don't expect. Let's give Claude direct access to my database. I built an entire investment tracker and I still check my portfolio like it is Instagram. Way too often, never actually analyzes anything useful. So I have got a Postgres database running with some dummy data for this demo. Instruments, transactions, daily prices. Let me connect Claude to it. Now, the Postgres MCP server is not in the Docker catalog yet. Not every server is. And this is exactly why I mentioned earlier that you can also use npm to install the MCP servers. This is where that comes in. This is the command I am going to run -scoop user to make it available globally. The only difference from the GitHub setup is we are using npx instead of Docker. The server comes from the official Model Context Protocol npm package. So it is still trustworthy. We installed 2 servers now, GitHub through Docker, Postgres through npm. Both available globally. That is the nice thing about MCP. It does not care how you run the server, as long as it speaks the protocol. Claude now has the access to my database. It can see the schema, understand the table relationships, and run read-only queries. Let's put it into work. First, I want to know which of my investments actually made money this quarter. Let's ask Claude Code to check it. Look at that. It wrote the SQL itself, joined the transactions with the latest prices, calculate the PL for each instrument, and sorted by performance. That would have taken at least 5 minutes to do it manually. Claude did it in seconds. But here is where it gets actually useful. Let me ask something you would normally need a financial advisor for. Am I too heavy in one sector? Is my portfolio actually balanced? Let's find out. Claude just looked at my entire portfolio, asset level analysis, category allocations, industry exposures, fund level breakdowns, and came back with the actual actionable suggestions, not just numbers. And this is exactly what I was talking about earlier. Without MCP, Claude could write me a SQL query. I would copy it, paste it into the SQL client, get the result, paste them back, and ask for analysis. With MCP, it is one conversation. Claude queries, read the data, thinks about it, and give me the answer. That is the difference it can make. And the good thing is, Postgres MCP server has only select query tool, so it can't edit or delete your database. Before you go set all this up, 4 quick things that will save you an hours of debugging. 1. When you connect a database, start with read-only access always. 2. Always run /mcp after adding a new server. Servers can fail to connect, and you won't know until you try to use them. Quick status check save you from why it is not working. This rabbit hole. If something shows red, just restart it. 3. API keys. One of the nice things about using Docker Desktop is that you enter your token directly in the config UI. They don't end up in your shell history or in a JSON file you might accidentally commit, but still treat them like passwords. Rotate them regularly, use the least permissions needed, and don't share your Docker Desktop config with anyone. 4. Don't go wild adding 15 servers on day 1. Each server adds tool to Claude's context, and too many tools means more noise. Start with 2 or 3 you actually use daily. GitHub and your database are solid starting pair. So here is what happened. We took Claude Code, which already edit files, run commands, know your codebase, and we plugged it into GitHub and a live database. Docker keeps everything isolated and verified. No random script running on your machine, just containers doing their job. And remember, this is not Claude Code only. The same Docker MCP servers, the same catalog, work with Cursor, ChatGPT, Gemini CLI. And we only scratched the surface. Open Docker Desktop's MCP Catalog. There are servers for Slack, Jira, AWS, Datadog, Terraform, your entire DevOps stacks, one click at a time. And if you can't find a server for your use case, you can build your own. MCP servers are not magic. They are just code that follows a standard. So if your workflow is unique, build a server for it.